Don't let this bottle deceive you because it's not what it seems. So let's review Bois Sirène. Yo, what's good guys? Hunter here and welcome back to the channel where I upload weekly fragrance content, so you already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any future videos, and be sure to follow me over on my Instagram page. But today, we are reviewing the newest fragrance from the house of Bois, and this is actually a special one because this is actually the first fragrance targeted towards the ladies from Bois, so it is somewhat special. But like I said in the intro guys, it's not exactly what it seems when you look at this bottle in particular. Shout out to Bois first sending this one over for review. Of course, that's not going to change my opinions on the fragrance. If I enjoy it, I do, and if I don't, I don't, and I'm going to tell you guys that. I am actually a huge fan of Bois when it comes to niche houses. They're one of the most luxurious in the game, and I do own, I believe, 6 bottles from them currently. And when it comes to luxurious fragrances, Bois is a house that's hard to top. But let's go over some information about Sirène, which I think that's how you pronounce it. This fragrance was, of course, launched in 2024. It just recently came out at the time of this recording. It's brand new. For the retail price, only size you can get this one in, which is 75 ml, is going to set you back $355, which of course is pretty expensive, but at the end of the day, this is a luxurious niche house and targeted towards a certain kind of audience, guys. So there are people out there that do spend hundreds of dollars, and look at fragrances like works of art, and the artist could charge whatever they want for their art piece. But it is expensive, of course. And I do have a gripe with this being a 75 ml. I kind of hate when companies do that, when most of them are 100 ml, and then all of a sudden they make a 75 ml. It kind of just ruins the uniform of my collection because every other bottle I have is the 100 ml size. And it's strange too because a lot of women's fragrances are always smaller in bottle sizes. I know Creed does that, Bois apparently does that. Parfum de Marly also do that. They make 75 ml rather than 100 mls for the women, which I'm not sure exactly why they do that. It doesn't really make much sense to me, but that is what Bois chose to do with Sirène. The concentration is actually an extrait de parfum, so you are getting the highest of perfume oils in here, and you can definitely tell it looks very highly concentrated with that oil. The perfumer that created Sirène is Noko OG, which I'm not really that familiar with her resume. I did look at some of her fragrances, but I don't believe I own any in the collection, but she does actually have a pretty solid resume from what I've seen. So with all the information out of the way, let's look at the packaging and presentation you get with Bois Sirène now. All right, take a look at the box presentation, which I don't care what anybody says, Bois has some of the best packaging when it comes to their box and bottle. This one, of course, is in that pink Bois Sirène parfum. On the bottom, you have some of your information as well. On the back, you do actually have some information about the fragrance as well as all the notes, which is a nice touch that they listed. And you do have that Bois logo pattern across the entire box. Let's look what's inside here. So inside that box, you do get this pink velvet box as well, which is actually beautiful. I can see this being a staple on any woman's kind of desk setup or anything, especially for a jewelry box. But of course, on the front, you have that Bois plaque, and it opens up with this red velvet interior where your fragrance is housed. It's one of the best presentation with that box. Let's look at the bottle now. So take a look at the bottle, which has the same color scheme with that Bois pink plaque on the front. On the bottom, you do have a small sticker with some information. On the back, you do have an original perfume by Bois luxury fragrances refined with the Bois embossed logo. On top, you have that logo, and then you have these pink gemstones around the entire cap, which is an absolute gorgeous touch. Nothing inside of the cap, nothing on the atomizer, and these do hold on by friction very snugly. In the top, you have cherry and pepper. In the mid, you have oud, lactones, and incense. In the base, you have benzoin, cypriol oil, labdanum, and moss, and this will be classified as a fruity sweet. So let's spray this and test out these atomizers. One of the best atomizers in the game, guys. It is pressurized, so you can spray a ton of juice if you want, which I always like to do. So let's go ahead and remind myself of the brand new Sirène. Oh my goodness, right away in the opening, you're gonna get this syrupy kind of cherry note that's very fruity and done in a very unique way compared to any other cherry I own or have tried, and I do have a ton of them. It almost gives this kind of burnt cherry feel, which is so good. Mixed together with that spicy, probably like black pepper is what I'm kind of getting mixed together with the cherry. So take a cherry and add some pepper to it, and that's what you get in the opening of Sirène. It's incredible. For any of my cherry lovers out there, you're gonna fall in love with Sirène. serene, and especially if you're kind of sick of those generic kind of cherry style fragrances, which is overplayed, but you still do enjoy that note, but you're kind of burnt out from it, absolutely try this one and you're gonna fall in love. Of course, when you think of cherry fragrances, you think of Tom Ford Lost Cherry, which is basically the fragrance that started this trend, and this one blows it out of the water, and that's coming from somebody that loves Lost Cherry. And believe it or not, Lost Cherry is actually almost double the price of Serene, and this smells so much more expensive and high quality. Making our way into the mid, which is probably my favorite part of this scent profile, is where it starts to become very creamy and warm from the lactones. You're gonna get this milky creaminess about it, mixed together with that signature Fragrance du Bois oud, which isn't too funky, it just gives it this rich woodiness, along with a slight resin smoky incense. I just love the way Fragrance du Bois does their oud. And I believe every fragrance from this house that actually has oud in it is natural real oud. Of course, it's probably not a ton of it, but they do claim it is real oud in here. And you definitely kind of detect that richness, that woodiness, light earthiness, but it's not too funky or barnyardy. So if you don't like oud, you still will enjoy this. So in the mid, just think of this milky lactones, rich woody oud, the smoky incense, and you're still getting that fruity cherry note. It's extremely different and unique when it comes to this genre, and even me myself, I kind of hated cherry fragrances after a while because they all were so redundant. If you were like me and you want a different kind of cherry fragrance, this is one you definitely want to check out, especially if you are in the market for this kind of fragrance at that price. And then finally making our way into the base is where it starts to become even more resinous and somewhat sweet from that benzoin note, which does take over in the base and kind of grounds it out a little bit, alongside this leathery kind of lavender note. I'm not getting much green or earthiness from the cypriol oil or that oak moss so much. Even though the oak moss might be there, a pinch of it, very, very slight. It's just mostly leathery and resinous. And this one absolutely takes you on a journey from the opening, mid, and base, which a niche fragrance at this price absolutely should. It should not be linear, and it is very, very complex. Luckily, the cherry from the opening does last a very, very long time. It's not like a faint cherry that's gonna disappear after 30 minutes to an hour. You're definitely gonna get that fruity cherry throughout the entire wearing of it until you get into that far base where it's just really resinous and leathery, and still has that woody oud and somewhat milky. By far, one of the best cherry fragrances I've ever had the pleasure of getting my nose on. And like I said in the intro, do not let this bottle deceive you, because even though it's pink, this does not go completely in a feminine way. I love this one and I will wear this one a ton, and it's kind of a shame as well, because if this was in the original kind of black and gold Fragrance du Bois signature bottles, I think it would do a lot better, because I could see a lot of guys being kind of scared away from this pink Fragrance du Bois bottle, which you definitely shouldn't, especially if you like cherry oud fragrances. Now for the best seasons to rock Serene, I'm primarily going to wear this one in the spring, fall, and winter, not so much in the summertime. There's nothing fresh, aquatic, citrusy about this at all. Primarily spring evenings, fall time, and winter time without a doubt. And when it comes to occasions, I think this smells extremely formal. This is something you want to dress up if you're looking nice, you're going somewhere important, because like I said earlier, this smells extremely luxurious and expensive. This smells like almost $1 million, guys. So if you need a fragrance that you're going to be dressing up and you want to smell like money, Serene is going to be a good choice. Even though, of course, any fragrance you could dress down as well, but this just smells like something you're going to be dressing up and wearing. And especially on a date, for the ladies out there, if you're dressing up in a nice dress, heels, or going out for the evening to get dinner, will be beautiful and win any guy over with this fragrance alone. Heck, even for myself, if I went out with a lady that smelled like this, I would just fall in love. And also for the guys out there as well, like I said, this isn't a complete feminine fragrance by any means, so you can definitely rock this to a date also. Even though thinking about it, I probably wouldn't, because on my dates, I like to smell very masculine, which this isn't, of course, a masculine fragrance. But still, if you want it to smell sweet, fruity, milky, you can absolutely pull it off too. And when it comes to gender, like I've been saying throughout this entire review, this one is unisex, but leaning on the feminine side at the end of the day. And I probably would rather smell this on a woman rather than myself too. But doesn't mean I won't be rocking this, because the scent is incredible. So for the ladies out there, this is gonna be a staple for you, almost like what Baccarat Rouge and Delina is when it comes to niche fragrances. And for the guys, please don't let this bottle scare you if you love fruity, cherry, oudy, kind of smoky, resinous fragrances. please. And when it comes to age groups, it is actually pretty versatile in this category. I can see somebody younger enjoying this one because of the fruity kind of fun nature about it, but definitely also on the mature side too. This smells like a older woman that has her life together, maybe very, very classy. It gives off that kind of vibe, but also maybe a younger woman that is somewhat wealthy too. This smells like wealth at the end of the day. This smells like a wealthy fragrance. I don't know if it's just because of the quality ingredients they're using or what, it just smells so expensive, which correlates to somebody a little bit more mature and has their life together. Wrapping the review off, talking on the performance you should expect from Sirène. For my testing, guys, I definitely got above average, around that 12-hour mark of longevity on skin. And if you spray clothes, this will probably last a few days until you either wash the clothes, which might take even 2 washes. This stuff is strong. It is definitely an extrait de parfum. You can totally tell that. And it wears like an extrait as well too, because also when it comes to the projection, I got about moderate projection, which means it does push off the skin fairly nicely outside of your scent bubble, maybe at an arm's length distance, at least from my arm. I do have long arms, but it's kind of saying that people will notice you, smell you, kind of ask you what you're wearing. This will totally garnish compliments without a doubt in my mind. And when you're walking around, you're going to leave this fruity, heavenly, milky sillage behind you. And that's kind of the situation when you have an extrait de parfum. They usually last a long time, but they don't necessarily project the most as something like an eau de cologne or an eau de toilette, because what makes a perfume actually project is the alcohol inside of it. And of course, the higher perfume oils, the less alcohol inside the bottle. That isn't always the case, but most times that is how it works out. And I am impressed too, because anytime I review an extrait de parfum, I expect at least 12 hours of longevity from it. I have high expectations, and sometimes you have an extrait that lasts maybe 6 hours, and it's like, what the heck? That's not the case with this. You're definitely going to get incredible performance. So that's going to do it for my review of the brand new Fragrance du Bois Sirène. Let me know down below if you guys are fans of this house. What is your favorite from this house? And if you tried the brand new Sirène, I'm kind of curious what you guys think. But besides that though, leave a like on the video, subscribe below if you guys haven't already, and of course, I'll catch all of you back here in my next upload. Take care, everybody.